This Drush is more.
Which Drush you said? Dalet?
Dalet.
You gotta identify.
So Drush Dalet is,
It's more than the title.
it goes into, the Zera Shimshon is going to go into why there's a machloket as to a part of the walls of the Beit HaMikdash.
Quick question before we move on to that.
Go for it.
The Reshi Tevos of Nechoshes in the previous
Yeah.
Drush, is that the Zera Shimshon's Chiddush, or does he have a Makor?
Yeah, I was wondering that.
Any comment?
Okay, I didn't see it inside.
You will see. No?
I think it was his own idea.
According to this, it's his own idea.
Yeah, it would have quoted something.
Yeah, he would have
He
quoted
would
it.
have, for sure. He always
Flip it
does.
around.
Yeah. Oh, flip it around? Oh, it's
Yeah,
not.
like
He's
Camera's
big
on.
enough to come up with his own.
Camera's still on.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, good question. I think it's his own chiddush.
Yeah, which dress you at?
4. Dalet.
Dalet.
Okay. So now,
And we're live and everything.
we're live on everything. So this is the second Torah of the night.
What?
Trust Dalet.
The Gemara in Baba Batra, Perik Hey, or Daf Ein Hey, says, "V'samti kad kod shimshotayich." It says, if
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm Haaretz. I'm hearing all this stuff with the kotkod, shager, like in the army. What does this kotkod mean?
Kod means, shager means to release.
Yeah, but kotkod, what's that?
Kod means is like the point. In other words, you're telling point 1 to point A to point B. Kod is like the central command. Means like that's like the person at the chamal. You say kod to whatever.
Ah,
In other words, the kod is the main person. He's the command person.
all right.
So now, interestingly, kad code here. That's why you probably did. But kod
That's why I asked you.
Right, kod is spelled with a kof, not a kaf.
Isn't that connected to the bracha with Yosef Asadik?
Nazir, right, kod lecha, right, Nazir,
yeah.
right, you're right, correct. So it says here, Baba Bakr Perik Hey says, "V'samti kad kod shimshotayich, chad amar d'shoam, chad amar d'yashveh." This week's parsha, what do we know about the avnei, avanim of
The 12 diamonds.
the 12
stones.
12 stones.
12 tribes.
Stones of the- right. And one of them is Shoam, and one of them is Yashveh. Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu. Right? Chad Amar de Shoam. One of them says, Samti Kat Kod Shimshotayich. I will make your walls out of Kat Kod. One opinion says that Kat Kod means
Shimshotayich is wall?
walls. Shimshotayich are walls, right. Okay? One of them says, it's in Yishayahu. It says, one says that the Kat Kod means stones of Shoam, and one of them says it's the stones of Yashveh. Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu. Lehevi Kedin Uchedin. Let us be like both. Means that we'll make the walls will be made both of Yashveh and Shoam. Al Tam Shano, that's the Gemara. Sarich Iyun, Zera Shimshon in typical fashion says, I need to understand, Lama Davka Yuha Chomot, Me'elu Ashnei Avanim Shoam v'Yashveh.
We don't even know how they look. You know how they look?
Right. I don't
You ever
know.
saw one?
He said, in fact, even in the English, in the art school, usually they tell you like the name in English. It says here Shoam and Yashveh. They don't tell you.
You don't know.
The stones or the walls of the breastplate?
The stones themselves are Shoam and Yashveh.
Okay.
But the stone, what Yeshayahu was telling you about when he says the Samti Kat Kod Shimshotayich, he's talking about the walls of the Beit HaMikdash.
Right, but they weren't.
Made out of stone, but that's what he said. That's what I don't know if they actually weren't made out of that, but he says this. Zera Shimshon says, I don't get it. I don't get it. So what does he say? V'yesh lomar. This is such a beautiful Torah. It's great. Shebe'elu avanim haya katuv b'hem ba'avnei hachoshen shmot Yosef u'Binyamin. So if you look in the Midrash in Shmot Rabbah, it says that these two stones, that the names of Yosef and Binyamin were inscribed on the Choshen, on these two, the Shoam and the Yashveh.
Which one is what?
What?
Binyamin is Yashveh.
I believe so, yes. You're right. Correct. I believe so. We're going to get to why in a second. V'chatuv b'sefer Shiltei HaGiborim. The Sefer Shiltei HaGiborim, which is it's a sefer written many, many years ago. He says here by a work by Rav Avram Partoblioni. Basically about the Beit HaMikdash and the different kelim. He says like this: Shashoam yo'il lizchira v'la'inayim v'hu tov leha'ashir v'hu melamed l'shon ha'adam la'alitz u'daber b'chokhmah la'avin ha'chidot ha'ne'amot v'kimat yavi et ha'adam lidei nevuah. Okay, so he says is what happens with what's unique about the Shoam. This is not me saying this is not the Zera Shimshon. He's quoting the Shiltei HaGiborim. And he says
Stone has a skula.
the stone has a skula of what? To become wealthy.
The lady in the old city, she has all these different stones. She has everyone has different skula.
Really? So he says here, look.
She
what
makes
he says.
jewelry.
Yeah, right? So he says what he says. So he says here, look. So he says here, look. The Shoam says is it's good for memory. It's good for your eyes. It's good to be wealthy. It also teaches a person to what? To speak with the proper tongue, to speak nicely, and to speak with chokhmah.
We better get one of those yashbes.
Who is that? Almost to bring us to Divorah. Who had all of those? So
You said it was Binyamin though.
No, the Yosef. No, the Shoam is Yosef. Yashbe, we said is Binyamin. Okay, so he said, "V'nitna Evan Zol Yosef mipnei shaya lo inayim tovot," as it says, "Ben porata Yosef, ben porata le'ayim." Right? Vayalo zchira, as it says, what? Vayizkor Yosef. ומפני שהיה חכם בעל הלצה בפתרון החלום ונצנצה בו רוח הקודש כי דכתב אחרי הודיע אלוהים והיה איש מצליח עד כאן לשונו. The Shilta Giborim said basically, Shilta Giborim is quoting, the Zera Shimshon is quoting the Shilta Giborim, who's saying basically that the Evan of Shoam corresponds to Yosef HaTzadik, whose name was written on that stone specifically because it has he says here, the Shoam is beneficial for memory, wealth, allows a person to speak eloquently with a lot of chokmah, and allows us to understand.
Same letters as Moshe though.
What?
Shoam is the same letters as
That's
Moshe.
interesting, that. I didn't think about that. That's very good. Right? Okay, that's what the Shiltei Giborim says. Based on this, we can understand what? That why will the wall of Yerushalayim be made with Shoam? Lachen kidei l'remos shalati lavo u'malah ha'aretz le'at Hashem v'atzlacha rabah. That's why it says what happens if you look at the psukim, right after, what does it say? That in the future the land will be filled with what? De'ah. That's knowledge. Similar to the Shoam, which is what? Allows you to have De'ah. Right? Hatzlacha will have great success and good memory. Why?
Amen.
So that's what happens. So he says is that corresponding to the Shoam, that's why we have the Shoam. Now we have to explain what? The Yashveh. Okay, we said already the Yashveh is going to be what? Binyamin. So now he says, now the picture. Now we have to understand the person who says the Yashveh in Baba Batra. He says, Hainu Masha Katav Arav Aniskar. If you look at the Shiltei Giborim again, Shayashveh Skulato Lishmor Adam Shelo Yitnu Asamim Hamimitim. The benefit of the Yashveh stone is that it protects a person from being given deadly poisons, and when he carries it, will not drown. V'nitana Binyamin Yiskor Lo Zchuti Mo. He says, what is Zchuti Mo? Now that's already a very bold statement. He says, why is it going to protect the person from not drowning? What happened to Binyamin? What do we know about Binyamin?
It doesn't say in Hebrew about this drowning thing.
What does it say here? It says, it doesn't say that. Okay. It says about, because if you read the rest of the...
English.
Right, in English, because the Hebrew doesn't complete the sentence of what it says in the Shiltei Giborim. That's why. But if you look, anyway, so he says, what happened, and it says, Binyamin will remember what happened to him when he was with his mother. What happened to Binyamin with his mother? She died at childbirth. Exactly. It says here, She'alda otochai, for she gave birth to him when she was still alive, obviously. Halcha lo'olama be'et lidata. But what? Well, she passed away as soon as she started giving birth. Right? So obviously she started she was alive when the birth started, and when she died, by the time it was over. But what? She didn't die. She didn't cause any trouble to him. Right? So you say, what? Look, it says, what does it say? So therefore we could see already that what? The stone that protects one from death is thus fitting for Binyamin. Why is just like the Yashveh, which protects what? What does the Yashveh do? It protects people from dying.
Yeah.
Similar to Binyamin.
Beit HaMikdash.
Right, well, exactly.
It's kapara.
Right, look what it says. Beit HaMikdash nivna b'chalko shel Binyamin. Lefi shekol hashvatim hayu b'mechirato shel Yosef chutz Binyamin. Who's the only shevet that wasn't part of the selling of
Binyamin?
Binyamin.
He wasn't born yet, or he just wasn't there.
He wasn't there. He wasn't there because he was still far.
But he was born already.
Yeah, but he was too young, so he was back. So it says, if the Beit HaMikdash.
No, he wasn't born yet.
He was.
Why?
Yosef was 17.
No, but
Binyamin was
Binyamin.
only a few years younger.
Yeah,
He wasn't there, no.
I don't think he was
wasn't
there.
there.
I don't think he wasn't there. Right, because he's probably too young.
Yeah, right, he was. Because afterwards, Yosef wants to see his beloved brother.
That's the good for the whole life.
Right, so he says,
He met him,
Beit
yeah,
HaMikdash,
he grew up
right? And now he says, what happens if we would have built the Beit HaMikdash in one of the other chalkot, not in Binyamin? ילכו להתפלל שם שירחם הקדוש ברוך הוא עליהם. לא היו נענים כמו שהם לא רצו לרחם על יוסף אחיהם. You would have said, what would have happened?
You want Hashem to answer you? You better have Rahmanis.
Right, you didn't have Rahmanut on your own brother. You
Better
want
have
Hashem-
Rahmanis.
You want to have Rahmanut? You want Hashem to have Rahmanut on you? וזה שאבנו של בנימין על ישפה. And that's why Benjamin's stone was the ישפה. במשמע יש פה. He has a mouth. לפי שבנימין דווקא יש לו פה להתפלל על הקדוש ברוך
וואו.
הוא. שירחם על ישראל.
יש פה.
מה שאין כן שאר השבטים. He says here, therefore, therefore Benjamin is the yashpeh. We all know the yashpeh, like you said, yashpeh is Benjamin. But we said yashpeh is yesh peh. He has a nice mouth. Because Benjamin is the only one.
Well, you could daven.
You can daven.
Only by him you could daven.
Right, why? Because everyone else.
Because he had Rahmanis, because he wasn't there.
He wasn't there to
He
have
wasn't
that. Right? It would be chutzpahdik to ask Hashem for Rahmanut in one of the other chalaki of other shvatim.
When
who were
they
all
didn't
there.
have
They
Rahmanis
didn't
on
have
them.
But part of the base which is in Yehuda.
So that's being Teifah Shachim, but right, the main part of Beit HaMikdash, the main part of Beit HaMikdash was in Binyamin.
Oh, but the Kodesh Kodashim, the main thing is the...
Right. So now, let's go to the last part here. So he says, he explained the two views. Now we have to explain why Hashem accepts both the views. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Amar Leheaven Kedin Uchedin. What happens in the Gemara? The Gemara says, Hashem says, let it be like both. Like one and like the other. Sharei Shneim.
What does that mean, be?
Look, the Gemara in the beginning of this Torah, it says here, Baba Bakra, it says, Chad Amar D'Shoam, Chad Amar D'Yashveh.
For the Beit HaMikdash in the future.
Right, yeah.
It's talking about the third Beit
I
HaMikdash?
don't think they're talking about the Beis Hamikdash. I think they're just talking about like no,
It's
just
in Yerushalayim. So
just
it's
the
one
Chamot
is not-
Yerushalayim. Generally, like the city walls, but not
the city
Dafka-
walls.
not
Okay.
Dafka the Beis Hamikdash.
Okay, the wall. I'm sorry, you're right. The sort of walls.
I'm not a Baki Nishai, but I think that's the.
Yeah, there's no yeah.
Let's see here. Let me just see here. The walls.
It says the wall surrounding the space in
It does say the walls surrounding the Beit HaMikdash. You're right. Okay, fine. Okay, so now we have to understand why does Hashem say I want it to be like both, right? We can understand that there's machloket. We understand, right? We got the one is Yashpeh and one is Shoam. We understand that Shoam represents Yosef HaTzadik and Yashpeh represents Binyamin. Now we have to understand why why Hashem says that we should be like both. Sharei Shneim b'nei Rachel, right? Both of them were who? Children of Rachel. Rachel here, Rachel is the one who, what do we know about?
She doesn't,
there's no
doesn't-
nechama. There's no nechama for her. She doesn't want to get consoled, right? Why? Why? Because the children are still in,
Kienenu.
right? So what does he say here? Katuv omer, oniyas hara lemechama.
Rachel mavakal banea,
Right. because-
b'ma'it nachem ki enenu.
Right? And then it says the verse is addressed to Rachel, the one that cannot be consoled. She can't be consoled. It is not that. Therefore, it says, "V'samti kadkol kigeneged shnei banayich." It's corresponding to your two sons. In other words, Hashem is consoling Rachel, saying that when we will gather Bnei Israel to rebuild Yerushalayim, He will build its walls both like Binyamin and like Yosef to represent your two sons. Represent your two sons, the two types of stones.
Because you don't give up to daven for us.
Man, she doesn't give up. V'atam shekara lachamot Yerushalayim shimshotach. Now we have another question, right? What's the word? Someone here asked a question. Why do we call the wall shimshotach? Right? Someone just asked.
Sounds like sun.
Right, exactly.
Sounds like
It's
shemesh.
like shemesh, right? Exactly. So he says, look. He says here, "Mipnei shekeshmo she'ashemesh hakol imechim al oro, kach yelchu goyim laor shel chamotach sheyu kmo shemesh." Right. So he says his.
Oh, I guess it's very far from now.
So what did he say here? He says the word which is like
Hold up
shemesh.
to wait another 2,000 years.
He says here, what did he say? Just as everyone walks in the light of the sun, so too, when Hashem tells Rachel that the nations, the Amim, will walk in the light of your walls that are bright as the sun. In the time of Mashiach, Hashem will make a sukkah for those who are the tzaddikim. Osim los zacha. If you merit to see and you become one of the tzaddikim, what happens? Osim lo sukkah. You'll make an actual sukkah. Lo zacha. Osim lo tzalzel.
What's that?
Like an awning, like a pergola, like a. You get to be says your tzalzel. He says we'll make a roof without walls. A shade. You get to see the shade, but you won't get to see. You won't get to enjoy the sun, right? What happens when I'm in the shade? It's a little cooler, but what happens when I'm in the sun? I enjoy it. Like I'm a mash.
Why? But in the sukkah, you don't see
Sukkah,
none of the
you're
sun.
protected. No, you're protected, right? Your sukkah is
Yeah,
protected.
but the sukkah is a schach on top of you, covering you. What the tzilzal? What's the difference between what is the tzilzal?
Tiltzal, he says here, is
It's like not a kosher sukkah.
right. It's a mere shade. That is a roof without walls.
And it's not as nice as the Leviathan.
Right.
We're
It's
gonna
not-
get this kid. You're
it's
gonna
one
see it's like
step
lo
below.
zacha, lo zacha,
Right.
lo zacha. It's gonna be this
Right. Lo
arena.
zacha osim lo kameh. If you're not even married to that, you'll have it some
No,
sort of
before that's
kameh.
anak.
Right. Lo zacha.
What's anak?
Ashar porsim. What?
What's anak?
Oh, sorry. Lo zacha osim lo anak. He's not even worried that he'll make a necklace. Just a necklace.
They give him a necklace.
Necklace, but now if you don't zacha that, you'll just as kameh. In other words, it's smaller pieces of like the zchut. In other words, what you're not gonna really enjoy a shar, and for the remainder of of its hide, porso al chomot Yerushalayim, he will spread out the walls of Yerushalayim. V'zivo holech misof olam v'ad sofo, and splendor will shine from the end of the world to the other. Shemar v'chu gerim
What's
orech.
this? You have to go do iyun on this.
Yeah, so he says here, thus the verse refers to the walls of Yerushalayim as suns to allude that the shining hide of the Katan that will spread upon them, meaning that if you merit, right? Oh, sorry, I skipped the part of the word. That's why you didn't make sense. So he says here, kedamim hatam. So atira kadosh baruch hu lasot sukkah latzadikim me'oro shel Leviathan.
Isbe.
Right. So he says here, when you make in the future, Hashem will make a sukkah for the tzadikim from the hide, that is from the skin of the Leviathan. If you really are zocheh, you'll see the sukkah.
What is this Leviathan? What are you excited about sitting in the skin of a Leviathan?
No, but you're sitting in that side. But what?
What are you excited? What do you care about the skin of a Leviathan? I don't understand this midrash. What, a Jew is excited to sit in the skin of a Leviathan? This big.
No, but he's going to sit in the he's going to sit in the
It
sukkah.
said that.
Hashem.
What's this
Sukkah
thing though?
Hashem.
But what's this thing, the Leviathan? The whole world's waiting to sit in the skin of a Leviathan? That's the time of a Jew to wait thousands of years of gullahs to sit in the skin of a whale? Mazeh.
Say that every second.
What is that though? But what is it? What does it mean?
I think he's saying what he says here. The way he summarizes it, Hashem says,
You're asking a very good question.
Hashem says, I accept both views, both Yosef and Binyamin. He says is when he says when we build Yerushalayim, he will build the walls out of two types of stones that represent their two sons. And when he will build the walls which are made out of Shin Totayich, which can also mean your son, meaning your son, as an illusion of the fact that he will spread out the shining hide of the sun over the wall. Meaning that the sun is kind of like the Orosh of the Leviathan will in some way protect over the walls. That means, sorry, the Orosh of the Leviathan will protect over the walls so that the sun will shine on those people who merit, and those who it will not shine on those people who are
You
not.
guys are fishermen. Tell us, what is this thing?
I'll let you know when I catch
We're
it.
waiting thousands of years to sit in the sukkah of a whale.
Good question.
You guys are fishermen. Tell us, maybe you know something.
Oh no, you know what it is? The Rosh Leviathan is protected. Right? What happens with the sun is so bright, you're not going to be able to sit out there for so long. So the Rosh Leviathan is the sukkah. If you merit, you're going to sit into something that's beautiful. The sukkah Leviathan is something protected. The sukkah is protected. Right?
Doesn't he also say he's going to play with the Leviathan, like whatever that means? Right? Play with him. It's a chaykato.
Right. So I guess. Like,
And then he's going to eat them.
Right. No,
Right,
we're
you're
going
gonna
to eat
feast
them.
the
We're
Leviathan.
going to eat them. Right.
So
we're
first
gonna
going to play them, then
eat them.
we're
That's
going
the
to
Jewish Dalit.
whatever that means.
Okay. Shkoach, hold on a second, we're going to stop. And then maybe we'll get a third one. Maybe.
Shkoyach.
I'm just gonna-
Go for it.
We need to get hold of some chairs for the
We're not
kollel that's
recording,
coming,
right?
Katzos. Does anyone know where they're usually kept? Because Charles messaged me something about a neighbor or something.
Why is there random vegetables here?
We get a visitor from the farms. He works the farms here,
Farms.
and he's bringing us
Who's at the farm?
organic.
He works in a farm.
Our friend Larry.
Pre-October 7th or close? Oh, you just started.
Oh, you did it? Good. Thank you.
It doesn't have a very strong smell. It's awesome.
Which farm?
I don't have a very sensitive smell.
A lot of people became farmers after October 7th.
He's like, no,
It's good when you have dinner at home and you come Yeshuot.
Let's
Give it over dinner.
Was that this one?
It looks like garlic.
It's good that Charles asked me yesterday, can I cover it for him today?
No, I normally tell you the same
No,
thing.
usually talking on Sundays, like I'm not gonna be here already, so like prepare. Yesterday he says, I'm not ready, I'm
So
not
how did
ready.
you get so good?
I learn Zera Shimshon every day anyway. So I listen anyway.
Before you met Charles.
Yeah, before I met Charles, I learn anyway.
How
So
did
I
you
listen
how did you
Sure,
meet
it's
Charles?
not green onion?
just through learning, through knowing.
You can understand why it
Shabbat,
begins though, right? Because it looks like green onion.
Okay. This one is a little challenging.
What is that?
Oh, you finished?
Oh, you've been into the Zera Shimshon for years?
It's a very underdeveloped area.
Before I met Charles.
Do you have a story of Yeshua?
Azalea.
Everyone has a story of Yeshua.
Azalea. So like,
Oh, man.
Snow and autumn.
Azalea.
Let me just see if we can do this one. Hold on.
Leviathan. Gematria.
Is this entirely edible?
Was it?
Entirely
Adat
edible?
Aza.
It's only
Right.
five
What
colours.
was the
I
food?
know, that's the
שם
problem.
צדיקים יושבים.
What about Purim Katan?
496.
באמת? מה, הבאת את זה לפני זה?
I can't talk now.
Yeah, Purim Torah.
ולמדתי
You know what he
תשעים.
just said?
No, it's good.
He just said the Chayal that Oro Shel Leviathan is Gematria Ogdat Aza.
Well, I want to say good news, Yeshua, for my son who came to Zera Shimshon this Shabbat. He came back his first time, 48 hours since being in Kan Yunis, and the second time the whole Mechama. And literally by Chatzos he was back in Aza, and he heard good news from through the army and Shabbat that he'd had contact with in Kan Yunis, that the terrorists he'd arrested, his unit had arrested, many of them were from October the 7th. So that's very fulfilling for a unit. Unit Tisha B'Shmona, you can check
Did
it
he
out.
get the
I don't
deal
care
with
saying it.
Elam? Saw the deal?
Excuse me?
My daughter
Anybody who
tried.
served,
The
My
system
brother-in-law got
system
it.
crashed.
What
System
happened?
crashed.
What is it?
Allah was
served.
giving out students for people who are serving or served since October before October 7th.
A free ticket to
Free
Europe.
tickets to Europe. But it's over.
My
It's
brother-in-law got
Over
it.
So they
subscribed.
make the giveaway, like my friend's
Yes.
brother's like getting all the
Okay,
giveaways.
Hashem's gonna have to pay on that.
Here?
Yeah, they give it, but this has to left
That's
like
awesome.
In Israel?
Elana, boom,
Serious?
Tel Aviv.
2 weeks ago?
We had